Guys, I'm Rebecca Morrow, and I'm an intuitive, an energy healer, and a somato-emotional body worker. And I wanted to talk today about one of the most exciting things for me these days, which is the cerebrospinal fluid and Kundalini energy, and mostly how we can activate that energy really smoothly and easily in a way that can feel really blissful really quickly. This has been working for my clients really quickly. And so it's a great way to start a session, and it's a great meditation to do, even if it's only for 5 minutes a day. And first, I just want to talk about what is the cerebrospinal fluid and what is the Kundalini energy. And I'll start with the Kundalini. So in my experience, the Kundalini is an energy that actually is just within your own nervous system. And it's known to be an energy to activate really ecstatic spiritual states, as well as really ecstatic sexual spiritual states. However, we're just going to look at this as being an overall connective energy. So the Kundalini starts at the base of the spine. That's where the root is. And when we activate it from that place, that energy can rise up and fuel the rest of the body, move through the sexual centers, through the heart, and up into the pineal gland, where it can start to produce DMT, which gives us those experiences of oneness, those experiences of having our third eye open, of feeling connected to everything, of being close to God. And that's a big part of the gift of the Kundalini energy. So it flows up and it moves through each of the chakras. So if it's moving very forcefully, it could open a really huge block in a way that either feels safe or not safe. It could feel like too much to integrate, or it could be done gently, where some old emotional holding patterns might get released, and there are a few sweet tears, and then you can eventually you're moving toward this state of bliss. So the Kundalini energy feels like free energy. It feels like liberation. It feels like connection. It feels like oneness. And a lot of people have developed practices around getting this energy to move up and through the chakras. And a lot of the images start with the base of the spine, the energy coming all the way up the body, up over here, and then flowing back down in a toroidal kind of field. So I'll kind of demonstrate again, even though you can't see all of this. It's like this. And when it's rising up here, it creates what people have called the halo, because there's this glow, there's this illumination in their eyes, the heart is open, and you can see the spiritual ability of someone through those eyes, through that feeling of the halo. So that's a little bit about the Kundalini energy. And when it is bound or stuck or dormant, that means that the energy isn't flowing through the nervous system. And that would happen because of our conditioning that shut down parts of us, emotions that weren't able to be processed or held in a field of light or of love. And so what we want to do is we want to bring this big, beautiful golden energy of Kundalini through the system so that we can wash ourselves, so that we can clear ourselves, so that we can hold more light. Now, the connection of the cerebrospinal fluid to the Kundalini is that the cerebrospinal fluid surrounds the spinal cord, and it comes from all the way up, down, around, through the ventricles in the brain, and back down, and it moves in this slow tidal pattern, kind of like at the rate of honey, is how I've heard it said. And it carries its own pulse. It's like this smooth flow, this smooth pulse of rising and falling, and really, really sweet and coherent. And if we were stressed out, or we were really mental, or not feeling safe, or whatever unpleasant experience, our energy field, the Kundalini, is probably going to be blocked, and the cerebrospinal fluid will be a little bit erratic. It might be kind of choppy, or it might be too slow, or it might be kind of like staticky, incoherent. And so this is what craniosacral therapists work with, to my understanding, is that they're sensing the wave of the cerebrospinal fluid. For each individual, it's going to feel totally different. But they're sensing the wave and they're helping it find the right pathway. It's like helping it along so that it can be really smooth and beautiful, and then fall down and rise up. And when that happens, everything feels clear. We feel really peaceful. We feel really grounded. Our hearts feel open. Our mind feels calm. And one thing that I just heard about the cerebrospinal fluid is that when it comes up, it comes through these ventricles, and I think they were saying it was the third ventricle, that when it washes over that, it actually contacts that pineal gland, which activates the third eye, which would activate our sense of oneness and our sense of connection to the divine and our psychic sensibility. And people like Joe Dispenza and Jim Carrey have been talking about this a lot lately, where they're calling it kind of the sacred secretion, is getting the cerebrospinal fluid in the right flow and activating that pineal gland. So a lot of people talk about this as though it's something way out there, or, you know, really esoteric, or you have to do all these practices, but I really don't think that's true. It can be done really, really simply, and that comes from a certain breath work. And there are two things that I think could get in the way. It's if you try to direct that flow with your mind. If you're in a place of doing and you're forcing this beautiful river, this beautiful wave to go the way that you want it to go, that's not relationship, and that's not connection. So we need to drop our ego and come into presence, and with our awareness and our senses, we're contacting it, we're meeting it, just like you would a baby that you are trying to help settle its nervous system. So you're connecting to this beautiful energy, bringing it down and back up, and it's like connecting to a greater river, and you're letting it flow the way that it wants to flow, but you're also helping it along to a better place. So, and that's really key. It's like we're finding the river right where it's at, and the river is essentially your energy, but it's that cerebrospinal fluid, that Kundalini energy. We're meeting it right where it is, and we're helping it move up and open smoothly so that it can start finding its pathway. The other thing that I think could get in the way is that when people think about Kundalini or the chakras, they think about them from a place of separation or a linear nature, and that's not what we want to do. So if I go, oh, this chakra, or this heart chakra, or this crown chakra, I'm creating objects, and I'm creating separate objects instead of connecting to a whole field that is electromagnetic, and it moves in waves and pulses. So we don't want to be looking at right at the base of the spine. I connect to it right here, and then I move it up, and then I move it up there. It's lame. Nobody wants to do that. It's not that fun, because it's not you experiencing you. It's not you being you. It's you doing you. So we're gonna start. I'm just gonna demo this breath, and it's so powerful. So you can't see right now, but I usually have my hands down, and I start at the base of my spine, and I drop my mind and my awareness down into the base of my spine, and I feel, instead of a separate object, I feel a whole field of energy up there that I'm connecting to. So I tune in and I connect to this whole field, and with an inhale, I start letting that energy rise up at the peak of my breath, then I let it rise back down and settle. And sometimes you can follow, the whatever you imagine to be the whole field of that cerebrospinal or Kundalini energy. You can tune into that up to the top of your head and follow it right back down. But sometimes I like bringing it up and then just watching it shower down, kind of like this golden bath that I get to put myself in. So again, we're going to connect, hands open, receptive So you're connecting to a greater field like this on the side of your body. So starting at the base of the spine, inhaling from the base of the spine, you're catching the energy, catching the flow, and letting the inhale happen. And sometimes my spine it'll do this kind of thing, or it'll have a ripple as I follow that river in whatever direction it wants to go. So I'll kind of demo that again, and maybe you can see some of the ripple. Maybe I'll put this back a little bit. Okay, well, that's a little bit better. But so I'm starting down below again, and I'm drawing that energy up, and it feels good. It feels like really yummy, actually. So I'm letting that energy move. And for me, I'll do this again from the side. Maybe you can see what happens to me. It's like my upper, I forced it a little bit there, but my upper chest tends to move. It's like the heart opens and the head comes back a little bit, and then I feel this peace come over here, and then it rises back, falls back down. So essentially, you could lay down if you want to, or you could sit in a meditation position. You could even do it standing outside, connecting to earth energy and drawing that in. And so you're drawing from that energy below, the base of the spine. You're activating the tailbone, which when that tailbone and base of the spine is open, you're connected and centered into the earth, and your whole being isn't stuck in your head anymore. You're reconnecting to the animal body, and you're connecting that animal body up to the spiritual body, and letting them all move in sync in this beautiful flow. So again, I'm connecting to the field of the earth below, base of my spine. I can feel it already moving through here and up and back down. And when you're doing this breath, one thing to be aware of is that it will touch on blocks. So since we're thinking of this as being a river, we're going to think about that river hitting the sides of the bank, right? We're not trying to push through the block, we're not trying to shift it, we're not trying to fix it. We're allowing that river to splash and bring water onto the side, those edges where the blocks are, and starting to bring those edges and those blocks back into the overall flow. And so it can be a beautiful, graceful process of including those, of finding where the block is and the tension where we kind of guard, and letting that tension kind of open into goodness, being able to take in life again. And that's a really big deal. So what I would do is I would do this kind of Kundalini cerebrospinal breath at least every day for 5 to 20 minutes a day, and just let the field itself rise. Let the base of your spine rise. You're surrendering to the river of your own flow, and you're relaxedly guiding it, and then letting it come back down. And it should feel like you're receiving yourself. And when you feel it hitting blocks, just be careful not to get hooked into your super ego and go, oh my God, I just hit a block, or ooh, what's that? We need to stay out of that field. So when you feel it hitting blocks, just allow it, and allow it to include or welcome. And if you feel an emotion, just let it come through, but we're not going to fixate on what that is. We're going to keep our focus on the openings and the smoothness of that breath and channel. So this is really, really powerful practice. It's the most simple thing, and all you really have to do is get out of your head and be able to relax your body enough to start letting this energy move. And so there shouldn't be efforting, it's more of a surrender. So I hope this is really helpful. Thank you so much, and feel free to subscribe to my YouTube channel, and I'll look forward to speaking to you again. Thank you.